What's up, guys? I'm gonna try to push through as much as I can. Um, Wherever I leave off, if I can't finish, I'll just pick up maybe in the next couple of hours to next couple of days, depending on how I feel. If it's too much for me. Um, I'm coming on because if you guys see my short, it relates very much to what happened to me just recently. You guys know I've been dealing with some stuff at work, and management has now decided to do something. Hold on, my hands are so dry. I can't bear it. Thank God I have some lotion here. I don't know why my skin is so dry. Anyway, so if you watched my last video, I talked about what happened during the meeting, what was said, and so on. So with that being said, over that weekend, I guess the situation kind of took a toll on me, and I wasn't feeling well, and I basically collapsed and taken to the hospital. Now, what I'm going to talk about here, let's just do some disclosures, is for educational purposes. Like I always tell you guys, whatever I do on here is for educational purposes, as well as documentation for my family in the event something happens and there may be some deception, lies, or whatever further. Because in the midst of me not feeling well, we rewind back to the part before me collapsing. I already wasn't feeling well that morning, which would be, hold on, I want to say Sunday morning, so whatever day the first was, which was Sunday, I already wasn't feeling too good. And as I explained to you guys in previous videos, I always have this build-up anxiety, because as it gets closer, even though I'm off Sunday, Monday, I always have this build-up of anxiety, anticipation, the what ifs, so on and such. So that's already building inside of my body. So that morning I woke up, I already wasn't feeling the greatest. I talked to my son, and I was trying to clean and organize my room and stuff, and put things away, try to get things organized, because I don't like stuff to kind of be out of order, not clean, whatever, before I go back to work, So that's what exactly I was doing, was trying to get stuff a little organized, clean it up a little bit, clean up my floor a little bit, and stuff like that. So I was able to do that, but in the mix, I still wasn't feeling well. So in the past, even though I had those same symptoms and stuff, I ignore and I keep pushing through. I got to the point where I needed to take breaks in between the cleaning, which wasn't really, what I was doing wasn't really, what's the word I'm looking for? And in between this, I'm going to be probably stumbling over words to say. It wasn't that hard or stressful or anything. I'm just going through my drawers, kind of organizing things, throw away things, whatever. And like I said, I swept my floor, because I have like hardwood floors or melodeum or whatever this material is. Swept the floor. I don't believe, did I mop? I'm not sure. I think I may have mopped. I'm not really sure if I did or not. So I cleaned up my floor, organized my stock of Labubu outfits or whatever that I sell on my Poshmark store, whatever. So I reorganized that. And I got off the phone with my son and I laid down for a little bit because I was like, ugh, I'm really not feeling well. Let me just lay down for a little bit. And once this passes, then I'll get up and complete what I started. I told my friend, roommate, whatever, that I was like, I really don't feel good. It's like, do you want me to take you to the hospital? I said, no, I don't think it's that bad. It's just the usual stuff. It's probably my anxiety of going back, even though it's Sunday. It's probably just my anxiety building or whatever. But then after a few minutes of just laying there, I started to feel worse. And so he finally said, I think you should go. And so I said, I agreed. I said, oh, okay, maybe I should go. Maybe just to be sure it's not serious, because I don't know if you guys know, I am type 2 diabetic as well as asthmatic. I have this allergy issues, which you guys know about, as well as the sinus. I had to spray some Afrin, even though the doctors and stuff don't want me using that, but that seems to be what opens me up. As you can see, I'm not talking so nasally right now because I sprayed that in before I came on, so you guys can understand me a little better. So I got dressed, I put on a sweater. It's the fact this was the sweater I was wearing when I went, and my pajama pants, and went downstairs. But as I was going down the stairs, I started to feel a little weaker. So he said, I'm gonna go to the car, I'm gonna go to the garage, pull the car out, whatever, just go out the gate and you can get in the car or whatever, and we'll go. So I said, okay. So as I'm walking down the hall to go through the door, I started to feel even weaker. So I leaned up against the wall. The wall is stucco, just FYI, the wall is stucco. So I leaned up against the wall, to kind of catch my breath and maybe get a little boost of energy or whatever. And then I realized, I'm like, okay, he's going to be out the garage by the time I got to try to, get so I can meet him, whatever, and when he pulls out. So I started to force myself to go to the gate. And by the time I got to the door and stuff, because I'm forcing myself, so I'm leaning up against the wall as I'm walking towards the door. And by the time I got to the door, no energy, I collapsed. I collapsed on the ground. I could feel myself short of breath, literally trying to catch a breath, but it was short. And it was that type of deal. So literally, like, as I'm laying down there on the ground, I'm like, I thought to myself, this is how I'm gonna go out. Right here on the ground. Right here on the ground. So because I hadn't came out, he came in and tried to pick me up, because by this time I wasn't able to even communicate and shit. Like, I was kind of out of it, but not. He wanted me to get up, but I had no strength whatsoever to get up and move. Nothing. He picked me up and got me into the car. He was trying to talk to me, I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even speak. And again, I thought to myself, this must be it. This must be fucking it. After that, I kept thinking to myself, because I still had my thought process going on. I couldn't really talk, but I had my thought process in, and I'm like, I can't slip away. I can't slip away. I can't just slip away. If I can make it, God willing, if I can make it, let me get out of this and be with my babies. My everybody knows I have grandchildren. It's no secret. I have 3, and I live for them. Literally, I live for them, and that's really all I kept thinking about was them. So I started to mumble, babies, because I wanted to say I want to be here for my babies. I want to be here with the babies. I don't want to slip away. Literally, that's what was my thought process, is I don't want to slip away. So that's all I kept seeing, and then I kept seeing their names in my mind, because that was really the only communication that I could do, is what I could say in my head. And then I kept repeating my own name so that I wouldn't forget. I wouldn't forget my own name. I wouldn't forget other people. So I kept repeating that in my head. So by the time I got to the hospital, again, like I said, I could hear people. I could hear what was going on, but I couldn't really verbalize too much other than me being able to say babies. I might have to take a little break and stuff, because this is, starting to get a little difficult for me. They was trying to get me to respond. I just couldn't. They were doing techniques, or whatever you want to call it, to get me to respond, which was kind of inflicting pain, but I couldn't even verbalize, like, hey, stop, that hurts. I couldn't even do that. Maybe she put me in a room and stuff, and still I could hear a bunch of people around and stuff, but still not able to communicate. They were asking me my name. I couldn't tell them. And again, my thought went back to this is how I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out like this. At the time, like, I didn't even remember, like, what time we had got there. I know it was late when we left. They ran all kind of tests on me and stuff to see if I had a stroke or something like that. EKG to see if I had a heart attack. to check my A1 to make sure that I wasn't in a diabetic coma. Just every test that they could think of. When I finally was able to actually like snap out of whatever the fuck that was. You know, they was trying to do an IV on me, and I was not having it. I was not having it. So I was able to, you know, like open my eyes and see people and stuff, and crowd of people around me. It was just like, and then they had all this stuff all over me, and I just started throwing things, and I'm like, you know, like, no, you're not about to do an IV on me, and stuff like that. They had to restrain me because I was just so erratic. So I was crying because they didn't, you know, I didn't want an IV done. I didn't want them sticking me with any needles and shit like that. It's like I never really had a problem with it before. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why it was, you know, an issue. Let me turn a little light on. I need a break. Okay, so now we got a little light in here. Let me see. Yeah, there. Like I said, they did tests on me and stuff and whatever. And people come in and say, "What's your name?" And you know, though, you know, if you've been to the hospital, you know the usual question that they ask you: "What's your name, date of birth," and all this stuff. I could not communicate. And when I was able to start somewhat verbalizing things, I couldn't speak well. I couldn't speak well. Not as well as I'm speaking now. So they really wanted to see, because of the level of communication, they really did want to see if I had a stroke, because I was stuttering and my words were slurred, whatever. That's the point where I was at. And so he had to speak for me because my communication was so bad. And I told him, what I told him is that, he's like, "Do you remember anything?" And I told him yes. So I was like, I nodded my head yes. And then I told him, or I tried to tell him, I was like, trapped. He was like, at first he didn't understand me because I wasn't saying it as well as I can right now. And he's like, "What?" So I said it again. I kept trying to say it so that to the point where it was clear for him to understand. And he was trying to figure out, like, what's trapped or whatever. And I pointed to myself. And he's like, "You feel trapped?" What I was trying to communicate with him was that in that process, that whole thing, prior to getting to the hospital, I felt trapped in my own body. So before I kind of like, it was like, if I can explain this to you guys, and because I'm kind of used to it because of the dream states that I have. It's like I can basically, in my dreams, I can basically Let me, how do I explain? You're an observer. I could say that. Let me just say that. That's the most simplest that I can explain it. I'm an observer. But this time I was an observer in my own body, which really kind of sucked. So and I felt trapped. Because in my dreams I can kind of just kind of bounce around. That wasn't the case with this. I don't know if that was a safety mechanism or it was the fact that maybe my soul was getting ready to leave but not. That's the only other way that I could probably explain that, where it makes sense. Because anybody knows that when you're in a dream state, you're not in your body when you're in a dream state. That's your soul traveling through whatever you want to call the dream world. That is your soul navigating around. So, that's pretty much where I was at with that. Why we couldn't be as like I am right now, where it's just not like I feel like, like I'm a passenger in a seat and shit like that. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe I was scheduled to leave, but not. I'm not sure. Again, like I said, the communication state was not good at all. So in the mix of me talking to doctors and nurses and whatever, me forcing myself to talk, I started to tell them about, because you didn't have a stroke, you didn't have a heart attack. Your diabetes, you didn't go into a diabetic coma. Is there something else going on that could create this? So I started to tell them about my work conditions. And the last situation that happened that could have possibly have created the situation that I was currently in. And I explained to them about the meeting and exactly what was said. Not fully, not every word, but the only thing that stuck out to me the most, that kept replaying in my head from that day forward, which was, I don't think there's nothing going on with you. And even today, it still replays in my mind. I don't think there's nothing going on with you. Because even now, just thinking about that is, why the fuck would you say some shit like that? Even in front of the union rep. Why, of all things that you could have fucking said, why would you say that? Because you're saying so many things when you say, I don't think there's anything going on with you. That's saying that I am a liar. That's saying that the situations that have occurred that didn't happen. It is saying so fucking much to say that. And to also not do nothing to make me feel safe in the workplace. That also says that this is why you didn't do anything immediately, is because you didn't believe what I was saying. So you left me open for the incident to happen again, because you didn't think anything was going on with me, right? Because that's what you said in front of the union rep, as well as the other manager. You didn't think there was anything going on with me. Then furthermore, you're going to say that I'm valued. But at what point am I valued? Because clearly my safety isn't valued. My mental health isn't valued. My well-being isn't valued. So how can you mean that? You don't care about my safety. You don't care about my mental state, because you've allowed people to harass me for an entire fucking year. And you did nothing to secure that office. Securing the office would have been as simply as changing the cylinder to the lock, to the gate that leads into the office where the parts are, those expensive parts. But no, you made excuses like it's important for the senior ETs to have a key so that when no one's here, they can let themselves in to get the parts that they need. Even down to the part where when I am there, the senior ETs is letting themselves in. They're not even asking me for the parts. He's just letting himself in like I'm not fucking sitting there. The disrespect. I asked you to take away the access of the custodians. Because that's where my suspicions are, is towards the custodians. But not really the custodians, but one particular custodian. I simply asked you to take away their access. Just for my safety and security. And at least until you do an investigation and get down to the bottom of who in the hell is doing some shit like this. Because I'm not the only female that works in that office. There is another female. And like I stated in my previous video, if they do this to me, they will do it to her. Because just like anybody else that does sinister and criminal things, if they got away with it one time, two times, they'll do it again and again and again, as long as they can continue to get away with it. So you're gonna wait to allow this person to do it to somebody else? Is this the gag? It has to happen to another individual in order for you to believe that this is a problem? And is this how you're going to always handle an issue between co-workers? Is you're going to tell the victim in the situation that I don't believe there's anything going on with you? Is that your solution to the problem? Is not believing? Because that's what you said. I don't believe there's anything going on with you. And I have stated, I am in fear of my safety there, because what else is this fucking person capable of? What else is this person capable of? There's no reason why I should have to lock up things in an area where there's only supposed to be me, the other clerk, and maybe a supervisor or a manager coming in and out of. Those are the only people that's supposed to have access to that particular area that has a cage door that closes and locks. There's no reason why I should have to lock up my drink, my water or carbonated drink or juice or whatever, lock it up in a damn drawer or cabinet because the fear of someone coming in once I clock out for lunch. This person's clearly watching me when I go to lunch so that they could go into the office, scan their badge, and go into the office and put whatever in my drinks. And that is another thing. The union rep asks, you can check the scan badges. Yes. Then why the fuck don't you check? Because if this individual clocked out at the same time I clocked out for lunch, what the fuck are you going into tools and parts for? What do you need in there? I'm trying to tell my story without getting upset and raising myself up into another episode, because I'm still kind of dealing with that. Now, I've been off of work since then, since that happened, since I was in the hospital or whatever. I've been off. But even though I have been off, my body is still reacting as if I'm getting ready to go to work, which is absolutely fucking insane. I find this to be so fucking crazy. I had a doctor's appointment on, when did I go? On, what's today? Thursday. I believe Tuesday. I would have to check my phone. But I believe I had my appointment was Tuesday. Yes, it was Tuesday. It was Tuesday. And as I'm from the directions from where I had my appointment, it basically where I could go was past the job, right? Where I work. As I'm approaching the job, my body literally started like trembling. Like I started to feel nauseous in my stomach, right? And I had to do like this self-talk. And I think I've mentioned that shit to you guys before, is I had to do this self-talk to myself so that to kind of trick it into thinking that we're not going to work, which I wasn't, but my body just knew it was Tuesday and it's time to go to work. And even though it was past the time that I would usually, I report to work, it was past that time. Just me driving towards that place triggered my body. So I had to trick my body into thinking that we wasn't going there. So I was doing this my self-talk, like, we're not going to work today. We're going to play hooky. We're going to call. We're not even going to call in, which, of course, I did call in for the week. So I really had to do like this just crazy self-talk to get my body to calm down. And by the time I got to the corner of where my job is, I turned and I'm like, see, I was like, we're not going to that place. And, all this crazy nonsense. I feel like this shit is really nuts. So I went somewhere else for a little while until it was time for my appointment, because I was actually really, really early. And so I went to the inside of store or whatever, just to see if my body would calm down, the nauseousness in my stomach would kind of fade away and whatever. So by the time it got closer to my appointment, I left that store or whatever. And even in the store, I was starting to feel another episode while I was inside the store. I was starting to feel an episode coming on outside of the trembling and the nauseousness. And I had, even because I was in the store and I had to kind of do some self-talk. You're okay. You're okay. It's okay. We're safe. And, shit like that. Like, to me, it's completely fucking insane. But this is what I have to do to try to calm my body down. And I explained that to the doctor. I'm like, my body is reacting this way. And in my mind, it's like, it's not one. You know what I mean? I was like, if that makes sense, it's like, it's not one anymore. Because my body is reacting a totally different way. But I had been telling my manager, I says, Dad, I've been through so much stuff at this job. I don't know how much more I can take of this. I've been telling him this ever since me and my coworker had our little thing where we wasn't getting along. And that was way back when I first got promoted. Last year. And I told him, I was like, I don't know how much more I can do with this. I said, because me mentally blocking certain shit out is not working anymore. It's not working anymore. Because that's the method that I've been using to endure this bullshit in this place, is mentally blocking stuff out and still showing up. You know, I said, now my body is reacting to the traumatic situations that is going on. Now my body is reacting. I was like, I don't know how much more BS my body is going to be able to take of this crap in here. Because it's too fucking much. For a small facility, it's too fucking much in here. There's always some shit fucking going on. I told him, I said, I don't know how much more I'm going to be able to endure. I fucking knew, and it's part of the reason why I make these videos, is because if anything was to happen to me, in which it did, it wasn't fatal, thank God, but I want my family to have something so they know fully to the extent of how far this stupid shit has run. And they could do something about it. And just like I always say, somebody needs to go up there and kind of look into stuff, because that fucking place is goddamn ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous. The falsification of documents, multiple documents, this and that, unnecessary money being spent. Someone needs to fucking go in there. Maybe a lot of people need to be fired and replaced in order for that place to run normally and things to be done correctly. Because right now, that's not what's going on in there. That is not what's going on in there. And you got to keep in mind, I work in the office. So not only is that stress, but there's the stress of changes being made by the facility manager. I think I mentioned that in my previous video as well. So, I'm at a point where I'm at right now is that I can't go back. I can't go back. Even if I mentally want to, because of my financial situation, my body's like, no, we're not going back to that place. That's it. So, and honestly, I'm scared. I am terrified that if the mind and body, you know that saying, if mentally I'm like, I'm going back, my body's gonna, I don't know, it may give out, because of the trauma. It may give out. Or worse. I was fortunate that I didn't have a stroke. But I don't think there'll be a next time. I don't think there'll be a next time for me to escape the fact that I didn't have a stroke or I didn't have a heart attack. I don't think there'll be a next time. I think if I ignore the signals that my body is giving me and stuff, I think that I won't get another opportunity to be sitting here in front of this camera telling you guys my story and making it out of it. So I'm scared of, if I go back and not, I'm scared. To say the least, I'm scared. I'm scared of what will happen to me health-wise. I'm scared of what I'll be walking back into, because now that this thing is out, and with these people, they don't have sense enough to keep shit in you know what I'm saying, in-house or amongst a couple of people that should just know about a situation. It has to be spread abroad. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to fucking know. This is how they handle things up in there. So with that being said, and I don't want to put myself in any further danger, because now a certain person or persons will be looked at. And we live in a time where shit is hard. Jobs are a little harder to come by. I don't want to be looking at a situation where more harm will be attempted against me. And being that no one is protecting me now, it has not been protecting me, I'm not going to subject myself to any more danger than what I've already had to come to. You know what I mean? I'm not going to subject myself to any more dangerous situations, health-wise or any other. My point to this whole video is not just to sit here and vent about my problems, which is always a problem. It's always a problem. It's always a fucking problem. To educate you guys that if you're on a job and you're enduring anything that's close to this or the same situation, to just get out. Get a lawyer. Do whatever it is that you need to do. For justice for yourself, and just get out. There's no need to subject yourself to abuse, danger, health-wise, deteriorating your health for the sake of a job and a paycheck. Yes, do we need a job to pay our bills? Absolutely. But if you pass away, those bills are still going to be there. Those bills are still going to be there. If you have the option to look for other jobs and stuff, do that. Because like I told you guys, I've been looking for other jobs. I've been actively searching for other jobs and applying for other jobs, and I explained that to you guys. I just didn't want to tell you guys where and whatever, where I was applying. And I also explained that I'm not going to stay out here. Stuff is just too freaking expensive to stay out here in Cali. It's too expensive. Yeah, just get out. To be honest with you, this thing with my manager, stating what she said, which was she don't think anything is going on with me, which is surprising. I've always tried to be supportive of her and things that she wanted to do and moving up. I don't know if I've mentioned that in previous videos or not, but so I'm quite surprised that the one thing that she could do, which is ensure that I am safe when I come inside that building. I'm not asking for a raise, or I'm not asking for any special treatment, anything like that, just for the environment to be peaceful and for me to feel safe when I come into the workplace. And I couldn't even get that. You can show all the support in the world to somebody else, but then when it's their turn to show you some support of some sort, it's just not there. I thought we was in a better place than where we're at right now. Because again, like I said, of all the things in the world she could have said, why would you say that? And say that in front of a union rep that's already went to the facility manager about this situation. Because of that, she may be looking at her job is on the line now. Because they'll be looking at, this is how you handle situations when something's going on. You're going to tell the person you don't believe them? That's why there's policies in the place of that. Because if a person is falsifying something, or they're making false allegations, there's consequences for that. Put it in place, because I'm not making any false allegations. I don't care. I'm not making false allegations. So let's proceed. Okay, let's proceed. I'm not making false allegations. What was stopping you for pressing on with the situation to secure my safety? What was stopping you from that? Because she is going to be asked those questions. And is this how you're going to treat everybody when there's an issue? Like, oh, I don't believe you. I don't believe that happened. This is how you're valued on the job. This is how much you mean to these companies. I almost checked out of here, and stuff is still rolling at that building. Nothing has stopped because I'm not doing well. Nothing has stopped. Everything's still running the same, even though I'm not 100%. Nothing has stopped. Everything's still going as per usual. Okay, so I had a ton of calls, so I don't know where I was at in the last video, but again, excuse me, sinuses, y'all know about the sinuses. Like I was saying, this is not worth my health or my life, because it's getting down to that point where it's a life or death situation. I don't think I'm gonna have another opportunity to try this again. So I'm gonna just say that this is it for me. This is it. And I'm not going back because I can't handle it. I'm not gonna go back. I'm not going to test the waters again to see if I can push myself like I've been doing. Is pushing myself, and I'm just going to let it go. From this point forward, I'm going to get the treatment, medical treatment, and so on that I need while I have this time off, and try to possibly get back to normal again. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know. Because I don't know the damage that has been done to my body. Because like I said, we're not one anymore. My mind, I'm like, yes, I'm going. My body's like, no, we're not. You know what I'm saying? So now I need treatment. I need treatment so that we can become one again and stuff. And so even though, like I said, I mentally try to block things out so that I'm pushing myself to go to a place that's not safe, that's not good for me, mental health wise, I need to not do it anymore. And this is hard. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like it's not hard to make a decision like that. It is, absolutely. But at the same time, I want to live. I'm choosing me. Like I said in my previous video, I'm choosing me. But I don't think I really meant it in my previous video. But I mean it now. Because I have no other option at this point. And so I'm from now on, I'm going to get the medical treatment that I need. And try to get better. Because even if I try to look for another job, I don't even know if my body is in a state that I can go get a job somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? Because my body might be triggered that, it might be the same thing somewhere else. Even though my mind is like, no, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same thing. You know, it might be better. It may be possibly better. My body is feeling something else. And like I said before, I don't know if this shit makes sense. It does. When it comes out of my mouth, it doesn't sound like it makes sense. It doesn't. I just know what I feel. And I know what I experience. And it's not like we're not working together. This and this is not working together. This is operating on a different something else. This is operating on another thing. We're not one anymore. We're not one. We're not one and the same. And so now I need to work on this as well as this. Maybe I'm thinking that we're not one, but we actually are. But because I'm operating off of something else, and maybe there's a part of my brain that's still dealing with the trauma that I'm not acknowledging. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have the answers until I talk to a professional. Because in my own personal opinion, and I'm not a professional, I feel like this and this are operated on two different systems, you know? And I had hesitations about making this video and stuff because I don't want people to take this video and construe it and use it against me or whatever. Only thing I can talk about is my experience, what has happened to me, what is currently happening to me, and go from there. I don't want anything that, you know, I don't want anything to be used against me. That's another one of my fears, is that because I've never been heard or seen, that anything at this point in my life, and I'm 53, let's keep that in mind. I'm technically a senior citizen. I don't want anything to be used against me as a weapon to destroy my being any more than what's already been destroyed. Because these files and these documents, these videos, documents will be used in further things if I can't get the right justification for what's been done for me, done to me. Just FYI, just in case people decide they want to use these video documents for some other nonsense,
because I am being truthful and honest and what I am recording here. I don't want it to be used and construed and twisted and in some other ways, because I do have a team of people that will get justice for me if and when I don't make it through this, which I pray and hope that I do. But in the case that I don't, that justice, my team of people will make sure that there is justice for myself and other women that has cried out for help and has looked for help and they've been turned away. And there's been no, nothing to be done. Because if you guys remember, I mentioned to you that a female was slapped on her behind and nothing has been done. So in this facility that I am, it is sexual harassment and other harassment has been normalized. It has been normalized that it is okay to treat a female in any way that you choose to treat her. Young, old, it doesn't matter. I want to be the voice for myself as well as other females that have been harassed in any way, shape, or form, that were scared to speak up, who did speak up and their complaints have been ignored. Or someone has said, I don't believe anything is going on with you. I don't want this to kill my spirit, which this job has really have sucked the life force from me and who I used to be, long time ago. My enthusiasm, my enjoyment, it has sucked all of that from me, has taken it. This job has taken from me a lot of things. My relationship, my well-being, my health, my mental. It has taken a lot of things. A lot of things. Like I said, I want to be the voice and the advocate for more than just myself, but for other people as well. And you men, don't think that I'm leaving you out, because it is such a thing as men being harassed as well. We won't just focus on the females, but in my facility it's more common for the women to be harassed. But men are harassed too. I'm not going to leave them out. Men are harassed too. And, possibly I haven't known any men to be harassed in where I'm at, but it is very possible, it is very real that men get harassed as well. So I want to speak for everybody. I want to speak for everybody that it's not okay to harass an individual that just wants to come to work and do their job and go home, and not be harassed and badgered when a person doesn't understand no means no, or to leave that person alone, or you telling them they're not doing anything in the office or whatever. Who are you to dictate and tell this person, this individual, oh, you're not doing anything? Who are you? You're not the boss. You're not the manager. You're not the supervisor. You're not nobody to tell somebody else that they're not doing anything. You don't know what their job entails, and you don't know what type of stress that they deal with. So you're no one to tell somebody that they are doing nothing. I hope I make it through. And I hope at some point that I can get better. And I get to enjoy some part of my life. I get to see my grandchildren grow up, and my house gets better. Because again, like I said, I have underlying ailments and stuff, and stress and stuff can take a toll on those underlying ailments. I know for sure that my body can't take this anymore. And I'm not going to put my body through any more stress or trauma. I will continue to make documented videos as my progression goes on, or wherever I'm at. I will continue to make documented videos. This may be boring for some people, that's fine, but this is for my family as well. And like I said, if I don't make it through this, at least they have these videos that they can use to get justice for me. And that was one of the things that I was trying to tell them, and in the mix that I couldn't communicate. But I did tell my son before I went to the hospital, I said, I don't know what's going on with me. I don't even know if I'm going to make it, because I really don't feel good. I don't feel like this is something, whatever this is I'm dealing with, is nothing that I've felt before. And go on my YouTube, if in the event that I don't make it, go on my YouTube, watch certain videos that has the title of my job or work, whatever in there, and use it and do what you need to do with it. That's what I told my boy. And for my friend, the same thing. I told him the same thing as well. Use these videos to do whatever you need to do to get justice for me, as well as other people. Because once this becomes public, then it needs to be an investigation of the whole facility and see what other women that their voices have gone unheard, and even men as well, their voices have gone unheard. You're not going to make me invisible, and you're not going to shrink me down. And furthermore, you're not going to silence me, because I can speak now. You're not going to silence me, because I know that's what the intent was, to silence me. And for my magical community, you know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. It didn't work, because no weapons formed against me shall prosper. And it didn't. And so here I am. And if the last thing I do is to make sure that someone comes in there and does an investigation of the whole fucking facility, that's what it'll be. Because this will not happen to anybody else. You will not continue to wipe people out. I'm going to just use that word and stuff, because we are talking about a sensitive platform here. But you will not continue to wipe people out where there's harassment and so on going on. And then next thing you know, the person is gone. Because certain things and certain situations were ignored because no one wanted to deal with it. No one wanted to deal with that comes with the job. When you take on a certain title, certain other things come with it. People are not going to get along. People are going to be harassed, whether for sexually, in other words, and other ways. I don't want to use the word violent, but for people that work, we all understand all the forms of harassment that there is. But furthermore, Furthermore, when you're in a certain position, you cannot ignore those factors or sweep it under the rug. It's like, I don't want to deal with that because I'm already dealing with X, Y, and Z. You took on this position, so it means these sort of things come with the game. I'm going to take this second chance because that's how I look at this now. I'm going to take this second chance and I'm going to do what I need to do rightfully for myself and for anybody else that's been shrunken down to be invisible. It has to come to work to a job where they're in fear.